Welcome, everybody, to a really special episode of the Popcorn Watchlist podcast. My name is Xavier, your host. Joined with me today, I've got Danny over here to my right.
What's up?
I got the young kid, Zach, over in the corner.
Howdy, y'all.
And then we got a special guest today. We got Chris, who is related to Danny. Don't accuse us of nepotism, please. But here we go. Chris, say hello to the world.
Hey, how's it going?
And
Thank you guys for having me on.
Of course, man. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Chris. A lot of you guys know me as Coke Gang. At least I hope a lot of people do.
Coke
I'm an automotive photographer, and I guess you can say I'm a car enthusiast too.
I think they kind of go hand in hand, right?
I don't see
I just
it.
don't know
I don't
a
see
lot.
it.
I just don't know a lot. There's a lot I'm still learning about, but
Sure.
yeah,
So you
I'm
take
into it.
pictures of cars, but you don't like them. Got
Oh
it.
no, I love them. I love working on them. Fondling. I mean, getting my hands dirty with them.
Caressing.
Caressing. You know what I
His
mean?
favorite song is
Whispering.
"I'm in Love with My Car" by Queen.
I was on that TLC show because I was having love relations with my car.
Explains it all. Explains it all. Perfect. So that actually brings us to our special topic this episode. We brought in what we thought was a car expert. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, we're
But
still waiting for him.
so we're actually Chris is subbing in. No, we're talking about some of our favorite car movies, and then actually what makes a car movie really like a car movie. So although that kind of sounds a little obvious, I think there's some nuances that go into it. It'd be fun to kind of discuss a little bit about that. But everybody here has like a certain like favorite movie when they think of movies about cars. And obviously there's one massive franchise that deals with cars, but that's kind of it's off the rails to some other stuff happening. But I know Zach for sure is really, really passionate about one movie that features
Yeah.
cars and racing. It's actually a really well put together movie, right?
Yeah, so I've mentioned probably like a dozen times, if not more, that I'm a huge F1 fan. And
Really?
The-
No, I haven't heard of that.
oh, you guys haven't heard? So,
No.
so yeah, I'm a huge F1.
Explain.
Oh no way!
So F1 is a sport where,
2 hours later.
How many touchdowns?
and then
did
that's
they do?
how everyone dies.
Whoa!
That
No,
took a turn.
so I'm a huge F1 fan, and there aren't a lot of F1 movies, but one of those particular movies that just really well made, really well acted. You have a lot of great actors and a great point in F1 history to make a movie about is Rush, directed by Ron Howard, stars Chris Hemsworth as British F1 driver James Hunt, and Daniel Bruhl as Austrian F1 driver Niki Lauda. Where they kind of have a in the movie it's a little different. They it's a little bit more exaggerated rivalry, like more like heated, a lot of headbutting rivalry. But I think in real life it wasn't like that. It was more like a
More subtle.
A subtle
A little
respect.
bit more
not I wouldn't say it was subtle. It was more like they were competitive, but like in a like friendly competitive.
Like
it wasn't
respectful,
anything.
Yeah.
respectful about it.
Yeah, exactly.
So not like Drive to Survive.
Yeah.
Where they just manufacture everything.
Yeah, where just everything is just everything's made up.
Okay. Yeah, I've
but-
seen this one. This movie's great.
Yeah, it takes place in the mid 70s, so it's a period piece, I guess you can say.
The
Yeah.
young kid says it's a period piece when they say 70s.
I mean,
Anyway, keep going.
I mean, he's technically not wrong.
Not wrong, but it just hurts.
But yeah.
Hold on,
Shows
it
all
brought
of
my
our ages.
back.
Okay, I won't say it's a period piece. I retract that. So it's a film that
historical.
it's a historical.
There you go.
Yes, we'll say
Or
historical.
biography?
Real events,
Autobiography?
sure.
It's
Yeah.
a historical biography.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
It takes place in the mid 70s, kind of like the rise of these two drivers and how they've met or how they do meet, and then their
Their chemistry.
Yeah.
Through just
yeah, and then they're
Yeah,
like
nice.
over competitiveness, like one trying to outdo the other.
Yeah.
Throughout the years, going through Formula 3, Formula 2, Formula 1. And then, of course, if you know F1 history, there's not tragedy in the sense that there's like death, but tragedy in the sense that it was a really nasty crash with Niki Lauda. He gets burned.
Yeah, it burns across a lot of his body, yeah.
And that's like up to the first half of the movie. And the last half is him like, recovering from that and then getting back into racing probably a lot sooner than he should have. But and then the final race is kind of like I'm not gonna spoil anything, but the final race is kind of like a dramatic finish, I guess, to whatever that season, the 1976 season was for that, and then of course you have like in the credits it's like, oh, so what happened to these drivers? Where are they now? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Of
Those
course,
are cool. When when they did that.
Yeah,
I like
it was pretty nice.
the rivalry / like respect they gave to each other at the end.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
It's nice seeing those two in something other than Cold War, though. And in Captain America: Cold War, it's Chris Hemsworth
Or
and
Civil War.
Civil War.
Oh, Civil War. Sorry, yeah,
yeah.
Civil War.
Well, Chris Hemsworth's
Was
Thor, who wasn't
Thor.
even in Civil
Yeah.
War, but then you have
Zemo.
Zemo.
It's
Yeah.
actually pretty cool, though.
Zemo.
It's nice to
But it's
be
cool,
like,
yeah. You have like
wow.
MCU guys like not doing an MCU thing.
It's
I
nice seeing
mean,
him outside of that.
He was, I think, where Daniel Bruhl first kind of like jumped out at me was Inglorious Bastards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was the first one. I was like, "Oh, this dude's like good."
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah, and then they got him in. I was like, "Yo, he's Zemo is great." And then the cool thing is,
Yeah.
and then fun fact about going back to Rush is that Chris Hemsworth really, really wanted the role, and he even like told Ron Howard, like, "Dude, I'll lose mass, like I'll lose weight, I'll do what I need to do to like be able to be realistically, the proportions of an F1 driver."
Yeah,
Like,
because
so-
James Hunt, or at least like James Hunt was a pretty lean.
he was a
like,
lean
skinny
guy. He was still in shape, but yeah, he's
Yeah.
super lean.
Yeah.
So Chris
And-
Hemsworth was like, "I'll do that." Like he's not gonna, like all shirtless or whatever, but
Yeah.
he was like, "I will lose the Thor mask just to be in this movie because he
Yeah.
wanted the role."
Well, because that movie and Thor: The Dark World came out the same year, so I think filming the movies back to back, I think he was still in that kind of like
Yeah, they were able to kind of change
Bulky,
stuff
yeah.
proportionally.
Yeah.
But it also shows you like talking about crashes, and I know a little while back off podcast, Zach was explaining to me how the changes to the cars in modern times allows for a whole lot more safety. And so like you'd see something like that, like, oh, Nicky Lauda
Yeah.
wouldn't have had the accident he would have had
Yeah.
if it were, the cars designed the way they are today. Like,
yeah,
hands
because
down.
they're
Especially
much
with the
more,
Halo and
Yeah,
Yeah,
With the crashes
yeah.
recently, I mean, these guys should have been more injured than what they were if they didn't have all that stuff.
yeah,
the,
because
the Halo was controversial, but I mean, we've seen it actually
Be
I
helpful.
actually saw it. I was
Exactly.
like, oh, this guy's
Hugely
not dead.
useful.
He's just got out and there was like minor burns on his uniform.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
Yeah, because
Oh, yeah.
now the actual cockpit is made out of much durable material. It could I mean, they do a lot of crash testing, so they want to make sure that even no matter how hard you crash, even if you're Max Verstappen crashing to a wall at 51G,
Yeah,
You can-
losing
you can walk
both
out of
your front
there
wheels out of
unscathed.
nowhere.
someone
Going down
doesn't like
straight and
Max.
then boom.
I hate Max.
Oh my
What?
God.
Tell him.
I've had a change of heart for him. I'll be honest.
No, get out of here.
to me, Max Verstappen
Bring in
is
the
like,
other guy.
is like the Bond villain of Formula One. The guy has his own jet and it's like painted red on the inside. The guy just kind of like, and he's also like really good at what he does. So it's like
Yeah, unfortunately,
Kinda-
he's good
yeah.
at what he does.
unfortunately, that's why I just like, I have no literal horse in the races, so to speak, but it's just fun to watch.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Yeah.
fun to watch us argue about it.
It also is that. I
Yeah.
don't have my popcorn for that today, but hey, that's cool. And of course, again, naturally, you bring up Rush,
Yeah.
but yeah, movie's really well done. Like again, Ron Howard over the years has just stepped his game up. Like he's just an awesome director.
Yeah, and then Ron Howard's great. I mean, he really helped with Solo as well. I mean, that's another topic for another day. But he did make that movie what it as good as it was.
Yeah.
Dude, he made Willow. That's all I gotta talk about. He made Willow. Go watch that on Disney Plus.
I gotta watch that one. And then but then I wanted to end this off by saying that so I guess if anyone wants to really know like what happened to the actual drivers, so I think James Hunt died in the 90s. I don't remember if it was like something with
Some health complication. I thought
I don't know if it was
right?
a heart attack or something like that.
Danny.
I'm
Go
not
ahead
sure,
and-
but
I
I'll
don't
look it up.
remember. I think it was a heart attack. So he died, pretty, relatively young, in the 90s. And then Niki Lauda lived up until, I think he died back
It was
in
a
20.
heart attack.
It was a heart attack?
Dang.
You're spot
Wait,
on.
when did he?
Like
When did he?
probably like early 90s.
93.
93,
Oh,
45.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty young. Yeah.
And here Lada is, helping Hamilton win a few championships.
Yeah. And then, but he died because of surgery complications when he had a lung transplant,
Yeah.
I believe is what it was.
Yep.
Like he was fine, and then all of a sudden he was admitted to the hospital, and then a couple days later he was gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
But
wild.
yeah, he was a non-executive chairman of the Mercedes F1 team
Yeah.
for many years.
I gotta say, like some racers, the way that they go, the way that they pass away, is sometimes more extreme than like a normal,
Yeah.
person just passing away. They live such crazy lives
Yeah.
most of the time. Like they really, really do.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
and
like the thrill you get from driving so fast in an F1 car. It's like, okay, I can do anything. I'm gonna parasail off of the coast of Australia, and then or
Yep.
I'm going to snowboard down a Himalayan mountain, and then you expect some wild stuff. To
I
happen.
remember there was an interview with a rally driver that he kind of said that at any time that he's doing a race, not doing a race, he's ready. He's already like admitted that he's going to die, and it's just weird how he
So it was
could
a
say
rally
that,
driver?
and yeah,
It's a memento mori. Yeah,
But
when
that
you
mental
can't
state of,
remember,
like,
you'll die.
Christopherson or something. Christensen. I don't know.
I think wasn't he the I think it was the person that was driving for Veloster when they had the
Oh, I'm
N
not too sure.
as the one of the rally cars, and he was just winning all these stages, and it was
Yeah.
crazy how fast he was going, and they
Yeah, I'm thinking of
stopped him
different
for
rallying then.
like a one-off interview. I have to find it again, but he said something like, I've accepted death at this point. So if he's racing, if he's driving, he knows that at any time he's gone. But with that mentality, he's just gonna be like, all right.
You kind of do have to have that mentality
Yeah,
because anything could
have to.
happen, and
Yeah.
like you can't really be a racer if you don't have that fear.
Yeah.
Or if you're like
in-
paranoid,
if you
yeah,
do
like-
have that fear, if
and
you do have
and
the
you
fear.
could really see it really good in Rush with Lada's like attitude, because he got burned, but he's ready to keep going.
That's
You
what
know,
he
yeah.
was. He was
Yeah,
like, that's
his
what I
passion
wanted.
was his passion
If-
was in F1.
Yeah.
He wanted to.
He's like, am I on
Finish.
fire?
Yeah, and
still?
Hunt got
No?
into
Alright.
it through, like, at least in the movie, where I remember Hunt like sort of getting coaxed into doing F1. Wasn't that the case, or was he like, yeah, I like F1, or like, I forgot.
He
He's
was
like,
given like a car. With
Yeah.
no sponsors. And he's
Yeah.
like, well,
Well, yeah, because he
Yeah,
was
we're taking a chance.
he was racing before Niki Lauda was racing in the same championship in F3.
Yeah.
Towards the beginning of the movie.
okay, yeah.
And they're like, oh, who's this guy? Like,
And Nicky
Talking about
Lauda's like,
Lauda.
I'm awesome. Like,
yeah, and he's
I'm
smoking everyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a Lotus car that was going on at the time, right? It was a Lotus.
I don't remember. I,
remember
don't
it was
remember those
green.
details, but
I was just rewatching. I was just rewatching.
Man's
it.
doing
Like
his
today?
homework.
I was
Good
doing my
job.
homework. Yeah, it
You're
was
like-
green, so I'm assuming it was a Lotus Cosworth.
You're
don't
like movie podcast.
be.
Gotta watch all
Yeah.
the movies.
Which-
Which I
watched all
actually
the
did,
racing movies.
which I completely did.
Man came prepared.
You watched
Take
Yeah.
all
notes,
9
Zach.
Fast and Furious movies in 1 hour.
No,
God,
actually, we did that when the new one was coming out. All right,
We did.
which was
That's right.
that was
We did one
We
movie
see the
every day, or
transformation.
like 2 movies every day, leading
Yep.
up to F9, and then we saw F9 in the movie theater together, and it was like,
I was there
it
for
was
one of
a
them.
s-
You were-
it was
I was there for
one of
6
the-
or 7, I think.
yeah.
6 or
I'm
8.
honest,
No, it was 8.
That was just disappointment.
And then we got to the movie
I'm
theater
talking
and
about
saw
9?
9.
Yeah,
9 is
why go into space?
a mess. No, it's
Stop
okay.
going into
The
space.
space part, I'm not even mad about. It's the fact that freaking
It felt-
Dom and his brother are just superhuman at this point.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you have what's his Roman, just like, yo, are we gods?
Avoiding death.
He's just like, yo,
Avoiding death.
he's like, are
literally
we
has-
gods?
Yeah, he has the superhero strength of luck thanks to
We've-
Deadpool.
We've talked about this, like, I think at previous episodes when we saw them, we were like, dude, what the hell was that? Like, we were just like, what's going on here?
So this was the first movie I saw back from COVID in the theater.
Was Fast
Yeah.
9?
Was F9,
Yes.
and I think
Was
it
it
was
really?
Yeah, it was the
It
4
was-
of us just
yeah.
in the movie theater with Martin.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
Just the
remember
4
that.
of us.
Yeah.
And we would all look at each other at every scene like,
We were
what
like,
are we
"What?
watching?
Why does this
Magnets.
guy all of a sudden
How do they
know-
work?
Why does this guy all of a sudden know rocket science? And he was just drifting in Evo the last time we saw him. What the hell
Yeah,
is going
Like,
on?
what
Well, 10
happened?
10
Yeah.
years later, yeah, like it was like
10
10
years
years
later.
later. It's like we're out here like launching rockets. It's like, how did we get here? I mean, how did Bow Wow get there?
Exactly.
Like, what the hell?
Like they lost their minds.
Yeah, they all
It
went
was
crazy.
literally a fever dream. It was just a
Yeah.
fever dream.
Like,
Well,
what happened?
Speaking of all those characters, my favorite,
Why?
oh no.
which I'll bring up, is Tokyo Drift.
I love it. Thank you.
It's just so
It's-
iconic.
I mean, I like it.
The drifting.
I like it. It's not my
The
preferred
music.
choice.
I'm just a weeb at heart, so like, yeah, that's why I liked it. That was around the time when I started studying Japanese in college, and I was like, man, this is cool. I know what's going on, and oh, this cool army kid is out here like reselling American stuff. This is funny.
Wow, you can go 200 miles an hour on the highway and the cops won't.
Yeah,
won't
you can go
chase
like 150. That's actually a thing.
Really? That's
Yeah.
actually real.
Like there's a certain point where just like you're just gonna die. Okay, whatever, buddy. Like
all right, we're gonna catch up later.
or like yeah, we'll catch up to your dead body if anything, because like you know,
that
like
point.
if it's not necessarily like so disruptive, it's like oh fine, whatever. Like they just stop chasing you. Like but it's the same thing like with motorcycles. Like if you're speeding like here on the highway, it's like oh they're going 180. Like yeah, I can't catch that, but he's
Yeah.
probably dead.
yeah.
But
Like-
I don't think as a police officer you're supposed to pursue motorcycles,
Yeah,
like
there's
motorcyclists
a-
because
there's
it's
a no chase
safety.
law.
Yeah.
There's a no chase law. But
Yeah,
in
'cause-
Japan, it's no chase law for everything.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
which helps their case in Fast and
Yeah,
Furious.
and then you have the
Like,
autobahn in Germany.
That's just the whole cool thing too. Like you know,
It's a free for all there. You just book
Yeah,
it, just
just
go.
yes.
Yeah.
But I've realized something about the autobahn. I know we're getting off topic of Tokyo.
Well, it's
Drift.
still cars.
Yeah, but we're getting off topic with Tokyo Drift. But we'll go back to that. In a
I
second.
mean,
any car that is tuned for the autobahn is a terrible car. I'm just gonna say that right now. I know the
tuned
Golf
for
R.
the auto bar.
Yes.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yes, I know.
You're
There's the
tuned
new
for
Golf-
highway cruising. Yeah,
Yeah.
like you're just in high gear and you're just cruising.
The,
yeah.
the Type R, very harsh ride. The Golf R, very harsh ride. And it's just any car is just a harsh ride if they geared it towards the Nürburgring. If they were to go to Japan and do it on
Everything's
the
built around
highway,
the Nürburgring.
that would be splendid. Yeah, I know.
Everything is based on the fucking.
Yeah.
We'll cut that out.
Whoa.
We'll cut that out.
Whoa.
Everything's based off of the what?
Everything-
except
Everything is built around.
except for Bugatti. Bugatti has their own.
Bugatti.
Oh,
Bugatti
they have
has their own
the
circle.
That's loud.
what's it called?
Bugatti.
It's like it's in Germany. It's the Volkswagen or the former Volkswagen.
The egg track.
Yeah, the big oval. It's like less Essen Lesser. What I don't know what it's called. Essen Lesser.
Are you
I
talking
just-
about the test tracks? That, like when they go, oh, I'm gonna put this car. It's gonna make it's gonna like set the record.
Well, no. So yeah, this specific track is a big oval. It's like
yeah.
just miles. It's a
Yeah.
long straights,
Yeah.
and
And what-
Volkswagen used it as a secret test track for like
My people.
Yeah.
during
the
World
thing
War
is,
II, I think.
What I
it was.
really wish in Tokyo Drift would have changed my mind if they showed more of the underground scene as it really is. Because yeah, they have those car meets and stuff on Tokyo Drift, and you have them, showing off the cars. People are tuning them mid, meet. They're racing it up the garage. Yeah, they probably do that, but they didn't go in depth of like how passionate some of these people are about their cars. They just kind of made it about a drug fest, and then
Well,
they
that-
find out. And
That's the
mean,
trick, because if
you
that's
know-
the whole thing about Fast and Furious in general, is you're always gonna like here's some car culture, and then we're gonna blend it with light crime.
Yeah.
Like that was always
Yeah.
at least
that was how
that
it
was always the first, at least the first 4 movies, and then the 5th movie became a heist movie, and the 6th movie became it
But
turns
the-
into all that.
the
other BS.
window of the car culture part of the movie just got smaller and smaller.
Oh, it
to
does.
where
Movie,
it's
yeah.
It
gone.
absolutely does.
So
At
it's
least that's why I like Danny's pick of Tokyo Drift, because at least it shows a different subset of the car culture.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you don't get more of it. I remember there
usually
was a
1, 2, and 3 were like the more, had
more grounded
most,
to what the
more-
franchise
yeah.
should have been.
like it
yeah.
could be possible.
except for Too Fast Too Furious, because then they had crazy like technology, like EMP darts that
Yeah, that
You
was
check
really
those
extreme.
Cedo
That is my
cuz.
favorite movie, but that's my favorite of all the Fast and Furious
rough.
because it's here in Miami. But I mean, yeah, it was
Ludacris
kinda
does
rough.
elevate it to
Yeah.
for me. That's the thing. We have a
The
we have
fact
a
that he's
guy.
master hacker.
We have
you know
a
what I mean?
right, yeah, Tej. No, but the thing is, so the other dude that normally is on here, Anthony, we have this rule that whatever could be like a hot flaming pile of garbage could be a song, but then you throw Ludacris in it, it's like, oh, it's elevated.
Yep.
Enough.
Yeah.
So Ludacris does that for movies in general. Like it's
Yeah.
like Fast 9. Damn, the Ludacris parts were cool though. Like,
Yeah, they were funny as hell.
yeah, exactly.
So what about the Fast and Furious ride?
I'm not gonna bring that up.
Does
haven't
he
even ridden
improve
yet.
the ride?
Don't ever do it.
Don't go.
Don't
It's okay,
ever
Chris.
do it.
I'm with you on that one, Chris, because I haven't gone yet.
It
either.
I
is-
want to go.
just don't.
I want to go.
Dan,
through
you've
the
been on it,
line.
right?
I want to see
Yeah.
the cars, the replica cars
No.
they have. I
So
wanna
the
see
line
that.
is better than the actual ride.
I'll
Yeah.
just go through the line and I'll be like,
And then
"Alright,
be like,
I have
yeah,
to-
deuces."
I have to go. I have my fast pass going on in Disney right
Yo,
now. I'll go.
exactly.
I'll be
You,
right back.
you go to a completely different park instead of going on that ride. It is really bad. Like, do you ever play the old like games from they're like arcade like shooter games from the 90s where like they had like live action people and they looked really like bad in
GoldenEye.
slow frames. No, something like there's a game called like Area 51 or like there's like these real like light gun shooter games.
Oh,
So, like that?
like at Dave and Buster's that they have.
Yes,
those?
like that. So
Oh.
that's the kind of visuals you get on that,
On that
ride.
ride.
It's that bad.
It's like worse then
It's like 22, or like it was like 19 frames per second, and like people are superimposed on terrible backgrounds.
way.
Vin Diesel just jumps on top of your bus for no reason. You're like, why did you need to do that?
So it's like
and you're
the
in a
movies.
party bus.
So it's like the movies.
Yeah, it's
Oh my
bad.
It's worse than the movie.
It's worse than
Wow.
like F9, yeah, and or
Oh.
or 8 even. But
Oh no.
but like again, so the whole like Yakuza thing, and then Han as a character establishes Han, and then they realize, oh yeah, we shouldn't have killed off Han because obviously they bring him back. Spoilers, but yeah,
Which-
like I enjoyed Tokyo Drift for what it was. Like it was like, you get some kid who's just good at writing straight, and then hey, here's a different subculture. And back to my original point was there was this show on Netflix about it was like people who drove different cars, like they had either tuned their own cars or they had worked on their own cars, and they put their cars through like a driving competition.
Yeah. I know what you're talking
What
about.
was the name of this show?
Oh,
But
no.
they had an actual like Japanese
Overdrive.
drifter. It was Open Drive
Overdrive.
or Overdrive, yeah.
It was
So they
Overdrive.
actually had a Japanese drifter, and they're like, "Oh, here's the drifting course," and the guy just smokes everybody. You're like, "That's exactly it." And then like, when they do his profile, they talk about how he, they'll recycle parts, or like how the community will work together. And so like that's
Yeah.
back to your point of like
Yeah.
that's you wish you could see more of that instead of just like, oh, Han is giving
He's
the
giving
main
this guy a car.
character, he's
That's
giving
it.
this guy a car, but like they're getting other parts, and we're like, how are you getting that? Is it part
Yeah.
of the subculture? Is he using his crime money?
Exactly.
Like who knows? But yeah, more of that. Like I can,
You
I would
could
agree to that
only-
point. Get more.
I'll
of
be
that.
honest, you could only see it for like a snippet if you're a car guy, because you have the RX-7 with the Veilside wide body kit. I mean, the thing is beautiful, but it was just a concept that then Veilside was like, "Nah, we're gonna make this a real thing." And actually, you can do the kit on your RX-7, but
Yeah.
that's the only thing you see. You see the meats, you see the Hulk. What is it? The the XC.
The Hulk. It was
it was a QXC. or
was it
something,
a
like
QXC?
Scion.
I thought it was a
like a
Nissan
Scion box.
Moco or something.
Yeah.
'Cause-
Over there they call it something different.
Because
yeah.
like because Nissan had a cube, because Nissan had the Cube here in the
Yes.
States. In Japan they called it the Moco. And I always laugh because when I wasn't studying abroad in Japan, I was like, booger. But it was I thought it was a cool looking car for the time. Like
And
the
it was
mid-
green.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it was green.
And he had like
It
a
was
Hulk
green.
fist in there.
The Hulk. Oh
with
my
the orange mohawk or whatever.
Yeah.
I just love also that they did sneak in a TVR. They snuck in a Porsche in that little like scene. You're like, oh my god, these cars are amazing. We're about to see some cool stuff, and then you see just the Hulk, and then you see some RX-8s.
And it's like, all right, cool, get out of here. Like we gotta
see
go
the
worry about
350Zs.
the
You get
the
the red
drama.
Evo, which is pretty nice.
yeah, which is iconic. A lot of people actually do in video games. They'll always do that Evo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But they will always overlook the. I know it's slightly different to all the car people, but the Evo 8 and the Evo 9 are like so similar. But the Evo 8 was in Tokyo Drift. Evo 9 was in Too Fast and
Fast.
Furious.
Mm.
And a lot of people always go to the Evo 8 livery because it's all about drifting and all that. So it's the more popular thing.
It's true.
You know.
I mean, the
really
cars were a
fault them for
little
that.
flashy in Too Fast, Too Furious.
Well, that was the point. You're in
I mean,
Miami.
that's the point.
Yeah.
When was that movie made? 2002?
Three?
3?
I think it was
With
I
Yeah.
could have sworn it was like
I think
2002.
02, 03.
with
maybe.
one of the more iconic like bait and switch like scenes in Wynwood. I mean, that was
Mm.
and there's
2003.
people-
Sorry.
yeah, 2003. And there's people that I know in Miami still that have been in that movie because there's so many cars that they're like, oh yeah, I had that car when they were making the movie, and they're reaching out and they wanted all those cars.
Yeah,
in
because
that
they grabbed
scene.
a lot of cars in that scene.
They needed
so
to,
it was
yeah.
just the local scene that like actually came together and actually helped them do that. So all the
pretty
trucks,
cool.
the trucks were the only. I think what the trucks were the only one that were part of the studio and the movie. Everything else was like a fan.
An open call.
Yeah,
for
open
it.
call
Yeah, we
fan
need to do this.
for-
We need you to do this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to say that's true if I'm honest.
No, just ejecto
It just
cito,
looks like-
cuz.
yes, yo, that's awesome.
When you need to get your ass out of a conversation, ejecto cito,
Exactly.
cuz.
Exactly when
We hungry. That movie has some weird lines.
Some bad
But-
lines.
it's 2003.
It's
though.
2003.
I mean, that was the.
It's almost 20
time of the
years
movie.
ago.
Yeah, cuh. Like that's
No,
Brian
forget
O'Connor.
about it, cuh.
Yeah, exactly.
I still use that.
about cuh.
When people start asking me too many questions, forget about it, cuh.
Yeah.
All right, Xavier, what's your favorite?
So going into again like appreciation and love of cars, and then bringing in a side of crime is a
Can't have
slightly
car
different
without a
movie.
crime.
We talked about it. I think when we were talking about Nicolas Cage, is one of my personal favorites because it has my dream car in 1967, Shelby GT.
Fastback.
Fastback
Mm.
is a is gone in 60 seconds.
Nice.
That movie was cool because I mean that list alone, you're like, oh, they're getting, this man wants a whole lot of cars. But and so it was really cool to see like just Nick Cage doing Nick Cage things, and the supporting cast is really great. You have a lot of like lesser known people that now are kind of well known. Obviously with the exception of like Angelina Jolie and Robert Duvall, but Giovanni Ribisi plays his brother. Man, who was Delroy Lindo, and God, I forget the other, like his partner, because they're the two cops chasing after Nick Cage. You have, I'm forgetting his name, but he was Doctor Who, and he was also, someone mentioned
David Tennant? No.
no, the one before him.
Matt Smith.
No.
No, that was after.
That's after.
Oh my god. I
You're a
already
big
forgot
Doctor
his
Who
name.
fan, huh?
I'm gonna cheat because IMDb is going to save
That's
my
the dirty
life
side of me.
here. Oh yeah. So the other detective was Timothy Oliphant. Christopher Eccleston.
There you go.
He's great because he's also in The Leftovers. Which by the way, go watch Leftovers on HBO. It's amazing. But yeah, the movie has a great like supporting cast. The plot again is really fun. You gotta steal 50 cars in one night, and they plan this massive heist. And you see like there's a variety of different cars that get taken. So it's obviously like his white whale is Eleanor, the 67 fastback, but there's all these other like super high end sports cars. There's other cars they gotta steal from dealerships, steal from front yards. Just like really interesting to see the different methods. They'll kind of do that out of a car, like, oh yeah, we're gonna valet it, bye, like, or but there is a whole variety that you just see and you're like, whoa, that's really cool. And it's especially like what makes I think a good car movie is like the car chases.
Yeah.
So that movie has an awesome car chase towards the end when he's just trying to book it with the Mustang back to the villains.
I'll be honest, and I'm gonna out myself for this. I didn't watch the full movie.
Fair enough.
Watched enough to know what it's about. But in those car chases, didn't they have no music? They just had the raw power of the car, or was that?
No, I remember it having like it's like the generic-y Michael Bay-ish style music, if I'm not mistaken. Anybody watching live can hopefully correct me if I'm wrong, but it has these like, yeah, I can just think of as like just very generic-y like Bad Boys style music.
Okay.
So, because was it a Brockheimer Productions? Again, like I'm forgetting a couple of my tips, but the movie itself is just, it's a whole lot of fun, man. Like, again, the plot's really really great. Yeah, this is Jerry
Nicolas Cage.
Bruckheimer films.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is just this the build up for it all, and yeah, like it's, again, you mix a heist movie, awesome cars, and then and it even talks about like how he like grew up just racing cars with his brother, like from go-karts into like a love for cars, and we did actual racing with your dad, and then whoops, crime. So but
all the car movies end up in crime.
right?
God.
Yeah, like I don't know
Even
how you
Baby
can just
Driver. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, Baby Driver is another, like we were discussing it ahead of time. Like Baby Driver is another now like one of my modern favorites in terms of car movies.
It is considered one, even though it does revolve around just doing a heist.
Yeah.
That's
Well, 'cause
all it
he's
revolves
the
around,
driver.
like- yeah, and he's one badass driver.
You know
I'll say
what? If I remember correctly, I think they had to get if we're gonna sideline up for Baby Driver for a second, the whole opening car chase scene where he does that, they do that whole
It's-
flat spin
Yeah, he stops at that 180 and then he kind of fixes himself.
Yeah.
Just to kind of get around the two.
to get over the
semi
two
trucks.
cars. That I think they had to they had to take a whole nother WRX or a whole nother
STI.
STI. Sorry, like.
Yeah. I mean,
was
they're
it-
the same thing.
Yeah, it's
really
STI
are.
like that. They had to get another whole STI, I think, and change up. It's either not drivetrain. They messed with something with it mechanically to make it do it easier.
Yeah. So what I would assume, and I don't know this for fact,
Coming
but
from car expert.
Car expert Chris
is that they I think they had to change the limited slip differential so that it's
That's what it
always
was.
on, so that way it's completely full time 50-50 power on both ends, so that way they could get it to go back and forward faster to then grip up to then be able to do everything else. Now I don't know if that's fact, because a lot of times the modifications are like super like under the table, so
That's true. Oh man. Okay. So going back to yes. So again, there's little details. Baby Driver, awesome soundtrack. So you got to watch that. But it's also, that's a thing too. A lot of these car movies either have really good music because you have to have,
Yeah.
like with Rush, like you have a good accompanying score to handle all that stuff. Or you're like the fast movies or Gone in 60 Seconds where you have good music to go along with it. Baby
Yeah.
Driver, the same thing.
Yeah. Actually, going back to Gone in 60 Seconds, the Eleanor is here in Miami. Actually,
The actual Eleanor.
the actual, and I got to see it at a car meet. The guy actually brought it out.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Nice.
and it was him, and I think the wife was driving it into the meet. And
Is
we're
her
all
name
like,
Eleanor? That
no, that would have been awesome. But no,
That would have been nuts.
we thought it was another fastback, and we're like noticing the color, we're noticing the wheels, and we're like, wait a minute, this looks a little too familiar. And the guy brought out all the documentation, the pictures of it on the set, the documentation of the studio.
They
I
have
mean,
it
Like
certified,
the
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
certified
certified
approval or
like
whatever.
movie
Yeah.
prop or movie use.
Yeah,
thing,
and he's got a lot of stuff from the movie to kind of like give it the extra oomph,
Nice.
and it was crazy. And then I think he crashed it.
What?
No,
If my memory serves me right, I
No.
think there was a minor accident that happened with the car.
minor, define
How
minor.
minor?
As
It
in
ran
he
into a
might
bug.
he might need a rear bumper, if I'm remembering. correctly.
That's just the
That's what I've
resto.
heard. I've
How-
seen pictures, and it's been so long ago.
How
since-
original
Hurts.
is everything? Like, was it original?
Okay, well,
original.
what I would assume is that for the movie they did have
Or
to change out
restored.
some stuff,
Yeah.
but most likely it was restored. I mean,
It has to be like a
most
resto
likely
mod.
it was way too clean to be not. It, as in, why is there an old car with no rust? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's got to be some rust.
So this is gonna be like
somewhere.
a ship of Theseus kind of thing.
Kind of.
I mean,
the
as
ship
long
of
as,
Oh
Theseus.
God.
as long as you know the studio doesn't
Back into
kind of
this.
hound him for rebuilding the car, because we've had like a ton of people getting cease and desist letters from movie production records and stuff saying, hey, you can't recreate our car out of passion. You can't do that. That's
Right?
so dumb.
Oh man, so funny enough. So Gone in 60 Seconds, I have the whole list of cars, all 50 cars that are on here, and
50, my
yeah, they had to steal 50 cars. Thing is, because the brother botched a job for this crime boss, and so Nicolas Cage, Memphis, he has to kind of basically like, because he has his brother sort of like not hostage, but almost like, hey, I'm coming after you and your brother if you don't close up on this deal. So they have to organize this massive score, and so you have a couple Ferraris.
Mm.
You got a Plymouth Superbird, which is kind of cool, some old school
Ooh.
stuff. A '67 Corvette Stingray, so those are always hot. Obviously old '69 Camaro, so because obviously if someone asks for a '90s Camaro, I'd have to slap them. Or is it late '80s? Yeah, late '80s
I
before
mean,
they discontinued them.
Are you
Uh,
saying catfish era?
I think
When they
so.
did the catfish?
Yeah.
They're not that bad. I mean, drag cars, they're pretty good.
I mean, yeah.
Drag cars are pretty good.
Yeah, but
Everyday
it's just I
drivers,
can't
they're
look
so ugly.
again. Drag cars because they go away on the line and I don't have to look at it.
You know
anymore.
what? They have spirit. They have personality.
They have.
That's what's going on.
They got a personality for sure. But Rip the Dodge Viper. So they had a '98 Dodge Viper coupe.
Ooh.
I said a lot of Ferraris. Freaking Testarossa also. An old Thunderbird, an H1 Hummer, a '98 Supra.
Wait,
Obviously,
Is that a soup?
Is that
is that
Supra?
exactly? Is that a Supra?
Wow, they had to steal a Supra, and that wasn't the main character.
Right, a '98
Wow.
Supra Turbo.
You know what
Uh,
Fast and Furious said when they made their first movie? It was like, you know what? Gone in 60 Seconds didn't do it. We're doing it. The Supra is gonna be the main character.
Exactly. The Supra, and then a freaking was it a Dodge Charger that Toretto has, or is it a
His is the
Is a-
Charger.
is a Charger? Yeah,
it's a Charger.
it's like that and a Charger. There you go. A couple of Mercedes. Randomly, I forgot that this was a car. It was a modified F350.
F3, the
350.
truck.
Yeah,
What?
but from the year like 2000, so it's probably like slightly bigger than my truck now, which is just an F150.
Yeah.
Because these cars have gotten way too big.
I think they did. I think the 350 was the first one with the diesel engine. I don't know.
Oh, 99
That's so weird.
Infinity Q50. So yeah, like, and they all have names. So what was the Thunderbird is a Susan, definitely. The F350 was an Ann,
And
randomly.
and
The Camaro's
and-
an Aaron.
and
A Chevy Bel Air from '57, Stephanie. That's classy.
that is pretty classy. You expect it
Aston
to
Martin,
have blonde hair.
a '62 DB1 is Barbara. I don't know if I see it, but sure. El Diablo, Lamborghini Diablo, SE30 is Gina.
So all the cars had names.
Yes, every
Yeah.
car has a
Oh,
name.
every
And
single
when
one.
you watch the movie and they're planning where each of the cars are at the time, they have a list and it's all the names. That way, like it's coded. Like, oh, Ellen, Sharon is
Yeah.
here, Jessica
so
is
if the
here.
cops see it, they think that there's kidnapping.
Yeah, right.
kidnapping
They're just
people,
scoping out women.
know?
It's a model agency, guys. The Porsche 911 twin turbo is a Tanya. Sure, yeah, I see that.
Ooh. Ooh, I would.
Shelby Cobra is
Tanya.
Ashley.
What's her
Okay.
number?
Okay.
What's her Instagram?
But yeah, the movie's fun, man. I don't even know where it's streaming right now.
I can look it up.
Because we've done this
most
before.
likely
What studio?
Showtime or HBO.
Gone in 60 seconds. It was a Touchstone Pictures. Oh, so
Touchstone film.
Touchstone.
Touchstone
I
part
thought-
of Warner? No, it's not part of
No.
Warner.
It's
Oh.
free on Tubi.
Oh boy, I gotta watch it on
Free.
Tubi or Bravo now. The Bravo TV show, the Bravo network is still showing
Oh,
it.
also on Peacock.
Oh, Peacock, right on. Okay, so anybody bumming their parents' Xfinity, go ahead. You got it. Very nicely done. All right, Chris, guest of honor,
Ooh.
regale us with your choice.
My choice has to be, I mean, by far the best movie to have come out for car. The whole car community is just Ford versus Ferrari. I'm not a Ford guy, but that movie
I am, for the record.
was
You can tell.
insane. I mean, it was so well detailed, like down to like almost the shoelaces. They got everything right. And the best part is because this is why I love watching. Like, if I'm like really liking a movie, I'll watch the behind the scenes
Hell yeah.
and
Yeah.
see why.
We're about that here. Yeah.
And they had the son of Ken Miles in the set to tell them how accurate things are. I mean, that's
That's
just-
cool.
Oh
Could
man,
you imagine doing that? Be like, man, this is Christian Bale's playing my dad.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. And then he also had to talk to Christian Bale. I forget who was the
Ma-
mom.
the mom
the wife.
is
She's from Outlander.
Katrina Balfe.
Her and
She's
the
from Outlander,
kid,
yeah.
and the kid, just so
Imagine
they
that.
could all be,
This
in
is the family dynamic.
Yep, and they had him, and then the best part is there's smaller Easter eggs. So the 3 Ford GTs that are at the end, yes, they're most likely replicas. The real ones are running still today, and they're still raced today on like tracks and stuff. They're very heavily like maintained,
Oh,
but
of course, yeah. You go out there and it's like, okay, I need an entire team
Yeah.
to re-hermetically seal the entire thing.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it's just like any car. You maintain it, it lasts you a lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
But they had the 3 cars, so each car had the son driving that car in across the line on the movie. You don't get to see it because you don't see inside the cockpit.
Yeah, because they cut on each one.
Yeah, so the
Wow. I didn't know
people,
that.
so the actors, they had the actors for that scene, but then that final thing of them just crossing the line, the sons of their dad that actually drove that car were in the car. I mean,
Nice.
that was because it's like, why are you not gonna let them drive their
Yeah.
dad's car across the finish line? You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
that's a smaller little Easter egg about it, and the director did, I mean, an amazing job. I mean, amazing. He wanted everyone inside the car so that they could feel what it was like in the car. He showed the passion of what it was like building their car for Le Mans. I mean, they went through everything. Cheryl Kelby,
Carol, wow, he
Carol
Carol
Shelby.
Shelby.
Carol Shelby. I mean, you could tell that he has told the story out there before about how he got everything in Le Mans, so everything was pretty much accurate. I mean, there was some exaggeration to tell a story. I mean, putting the CEO at the time of Ford in the Ford GT just to show him how the car is and driving it
Was
like
it Henry
that.
Ford the
Henry Ford
third?
the
or
second.
It was the second.
It was the second.
It was the second.
You're not Henry Ford.
You were Henry Ford.
Henry Ford the second.
Yeah, that was I loved the oh, so it's funny who they got to play different characters. So who was it? They had Lee Iacocca. Who was playing Lee Iacocca? at
That's the
time?
guy from Walking Dead, and he did
Shane- yeah.
amazing.
It's the Punisher. It's
He
for-
did
who's,
amazing.
who's Lee Iacocca? That is
Bernthal.
yeah, John
Oh,
Bernthal.
Bernthal. Oh,
Yeah,
He
that's
did
the guy who created the
amazing.
Mustang.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
and then they also had
Which-
John DeLorean there too.
Yep.
Obviously from DeLorean fame, and now they're bringing the car back. Funny enough, but it was really cool.
Electric.
Yeah,
It's
it's
electric
electric.
car now.
Boogie,
It's not
boogie.
even. It's not even DMC anymore.
No, it's not
It's
DeLorean
it's
Motor
just
Company, right?
DeLorean. The car is called DeLorean.
I kind of wanted it to be.
With
At least
little things
DMC.
of Back to the Future on the car. I mean, whatever.
I mean,
But-
that makes sense because it's
Yeah.
not going to be run by a Mr. Fusion.
Yeah,
So I got to see Ford versus Ferrari in Dolby,
yeah, I know that must have been freaking nice, huh?
and it was awesome.
And then,
So-
yeah,
and then
The-
Anthony saw it in 4DX. I don't know if you know the Regal
Ooh.
4DX. So if
Yeah.
you're watching all the
So
the
he got
racing-
poked
See,
in the
that
back?
would have been fun.
that
That would've been
might be
fun.
actually kind of fun.
Still,
Here's-
maybe not Top Gun Maverick level, but it still would have been fun.
That movie still ruined 4DX
It's
for
still,
me.
yeah, it's too.
So
camp
where
good.
did he get poked in the back in that one?
Definitely in Le Mans because they needed.
Oh my god!
I think also.
When he couldn't close the door.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
Or when I know at least when Carroll Shelby drives Henry Ford Jr. there or the second there, and like I know they're at the stop. They got
yeah, where he makes that rough
that.
Yeah.
that rough 180
He's like
stop.
crying. I love in the trailer first.
Oh.
It's like he's crying. You're like, oh, he freak him out. But then actual, it's such a great emotional
Like,
moment.
happy.
And just like Dad would have been so cool. Like we would have loved to
he
see
would've-
this.
Yeah,
I
and
was.
it's-
I remember seeing. I was like, damn.
That's how it is, though.
He
In
hit
this
him.
in this world, that's just how it is. People will always build that person's car out, even though they're not alive, and you see it all the time.
Yeah, like a lot of like people build a car. Like, yeah, you're gonna try to mass produce it, make money, but there's also like this like personal touch to it, and it's crazy because so James Mangold, who directed that movie,
Mhm.
directed Logan
Yes.
and the Wolverine.
He's
so
really good.
and he's gonna direct the new Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
But it's crazy to see like how just again he's really good at being able to like
He's really
give
good
you
at-
what you want, but then
Yeah.
still like draw good emotion
and put
out of
you
everything.
in that moment because the way they had to film this, this masterpiece of a movie, they had to reinvent some of the cars just so that the cameras could be on the car and so that the actors are in the car while it's being driven hard on a corner, and each one of them and Matt Damon and
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale
All right.
had to go to driving school and learn how to race on the track. They had to. That was one of the requirements. They also had to lose the weight. I mean, it was
Especially if
you know.
you're Carroll Shelby and you have to drive around a Shelby Cobra,
yes.
like and kind of
Which,
whip it
in
round.
the beginning, wasn't that a Porsche when he was in the very
I
beginning
thought
of the movie?
so.
It looked like a very old Porsche.
I have to
Yeah.
rewatch that movie. It's been I've only seen it once, so
He's
my
like,
memory of it
I've
is like
seen it like
he's
a
like-
thousand times.
He's like, it's been so long,
Oh.
dude. It came out in 2019. Like,
I've seen it so many times since it came out.
it was like a 2.5
my
hour movie.
God.
Like it's hard when you only seen the movie once.
I think I've seen
to
it
kind
three,
of remember
three
that
times.
much.
Just
I've
think
seen it
about
twice.
this.
Yeah.
It's a 2-hour movie, and yet they still don't have every single scene in that movie. There's like 3 or 4 scenes that were cut that actually drag it out to almost 3 hours. I mean,
Like
that
whole
movie was
sequences. Wow. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, like one thing, like as a race fan, of course, that I want to kind of point out with this movie is that there were a couple of interesting little pieces of trivia that I thought would be kind of interesting to talk about. Because there's a scene in the movie where Christian Bale is driving around an oval, but it's like a road course. Like it's a road course within an oval, right?
Yeah, it's Daytona,
They say it's Daytona,
but it's not.
but it's not.
Definitely
yeah, it's
not.
not.
It's
It's not. It's the
it's
track in L.A.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think
if
it's
I'm
in
not
LA.
mistaken. Yeah, yeah.
No, it's not in LA. It's in like Northern California or something like that. It's
Well, it's in California. Sorry.
I forget the name of the track, but it's a popular, it's a NASCAR track, right?
Yeah, yeah,
They say it's Daytona. I'm like, wait, that's not Daytona. Like the banking is not that low,
yeah.
and the
Which they do admit it.
Yeah,
they
and-
do admit they're like we can't get Daytona because of the time or whatever, so we had to film it here, and they had to make it look as Daytona as possible.
okay, look, they probably could have used maybe Talladega because it's kind of the same track.
Auto Club Speedway in Fontana.
That's what
There
it's
you
called,
go.
Auto Club Speedway.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I knew it was something like that, but yeah, like they could have used Talladega because it's very similar in size and
They
and-
were really good at making
con-
it look like
construction?
Daytona, though. I mean, they were really spot on in terms of what they were racing
I love
on.
this.
The track itself. I mean, think about it. That's back straight is there on the actual thing. and they
okay, but
couldn't
because
replicate
the
it.
Fontana Speedway is like another 2-mile track or whatever it is. I don't know how long it is, 2.5 miles.
I mean, they weren't gonna do.
But the
all Le
banking is
Mans,
not the same though.
But they're not gonna do all Le Mans. A lot of there's a lot of the straights.
That was another thing I
were in
wanted to point out
Georgia.
too. That was another thing I wanted to point out
They
too was
were in
that
Georgia.
the track. I'm like this doesn't like I know the layout of Le Mans like the back
Yeah.
of my mind or the back of my head. Wow, back of my head,
yeah.
back of my hand. My God.
Yes.
And I'm like, wait, this is not Le Mans. Like this looks nothing like Le Mans.
no. Okay.
Like they could have used maybe some CG or a
So-
stage or something
Yeah,
to
but-
make it.
So the
still.
only time that they actually did use CGI with green screens and stuff was on, I think it was on an airstrip, if I'm not mistaken, in Georgia or somewhere. It was an abandoned airstrip that it was long enough, and they had green screens in the back so that they could shape it to look as close to the mall as possible. But the pits weren't. Like the pits were actually there, so they actually had to construct it out of wood and things like that.
Yeah.
But they made it look as real
Like
as
more
possible.
appropriate for the times.
Yeah. And they got the signs down. They got the sponsorships down because a lot of those sponsors do not exist anymore.
Yeah.
You know, they have the
And like the logos that were
You need the logos,
there.
yeah.
old ABC.
If you had like yeah, the
big
whole
cameras that were there. Oh my
because like
god, it was so
I don't
good.
know, I can't remember what movie, but I remember seeing something that was very we have what are known as anachronisms, or just like that's not supposed to like be there, or like hey that logo's wrong, and it's just it throws you
Yeah.
out of the movie. Like
Yeah,
you need that
same
kind
thing,
of stuff.
Exactly, same thing with Rush. Rush had the Marlboro cars, and they had one of the F1 cars that had 2 front wheels.
Yeah, that's the Tyrrell.
Yeah, and that's something that is
The
that
six-wheeler.
If you don't have that in that movie, you can't feel like you're part of that time.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure like I'm almost certain that a lot of those cars were the actual cars that they took out of museums
Yeah,
for the
most likely.
purposes of
Yeah,
filming.
That's a little hard to recreate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you can go to
It's a
McLaren and Ferrari, and I'm sure you can just borrow a
Put it
couple
on a
cars
trailer,
and stuff.
take out an insurance plan, and then hey, take it on set. Yeah,
Yeah.
you
I
have
mean,
to at those.
But for the ones that
the-
don't exist, like
or you just
Tyrrell,
go
like-
to Jay Leno's garage.
Yeah, Jay Leno's garage or Gabriel Iglesias' garage if you just need a Volkswagen bus.
Yeah.
Because that's all he has.
He's like, here's my garage. Yeah, that's one thing. Yeah. Meanwhile, Jay Leno has like every car under the sun.
Yes. And the best part is the cars in that movie because the 4 GTs were the only ones that were replicas. Every other car that you do see are actual people's cars that they do race on like so they have like the Willow the Festival of Speed.
Oh, Willow
a
Springs?
Goodwood. Goodwood?
Goodwood.
Oh no,
Yeah.
Goodwood,
So a
yeah.
lot of people that go to those tracks actually have those old cars and stuff like that
Wow.
that are really still running and they're still operational and they still race them and they put them in the movie because it's about that.
Authenticity, man. Yeah,
Exactly.
authenticity. And I think it's you can tell the difference between like a movie that'll use cars just to kind of like the idea, or like not ideal cars, but like just put the cars in to further some other like goal and it not really be about the cars. And then there's movies like about cars and about racing and what it means to like kind of be
Yeah.
one kind of in tune or connected to a piece of machinery and kind of bend it to your will to do what you want it to do, like, and whether if it's to again pull off a job, pull off a heist, or just win a race, achieve a goal.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes like a car movie like a legit like car movie.
It's when you can characterize the car as its own entity before you're able to
Or it's
implement
something
to the rest of the
super,
movie.
or it's something like beyond the main character,
Yeah.
or something that's like that. It's maybe defining towards the overarching like plot. It doesn't have to be like
Yeah.
you can have a movie where like like I have an awesome car, but like it's not about the car. If that makes any sense, it's kind of like so like movie Drive. Like I wouldn't necessarily say it's a car movie because it's more just like more like a crime drama. Because he is
Yeah.
a getaway driver, but he's a stunt driver. But they kind of like just it's more than just the car thing about it, because like
Yeah,
he
it's
wants to
almost
be a
like-
racer, but the whole idea is just getting stuck into this crime thing. So I wouldn't
Exactly.
consider it a car movie, so to speak.
You could even with some of that mentality, you can consider Transformers as a car movie. Because you
sure.
got Camaros and semi
Camaros,
trucks.
You have Camaro semi trucks. You've got Mustangs as Decepticons, which I take offense to, but whatever.
Concept cars,
Yeah,
know,
concept
fighter
cars in
jets.
place.
I mean, you got those cars that
You had the
transform
Pontiac
into an actual
Solstice
character.
in a car.
Yes, yeah.
Damn.
They use actual NASCARs in the third movie,
Yeah.
What?
like Dale Jr., Jeff Gordon kind of stuff.
No
Like
way.
like
Yeah.
their actual.
I don't
Yeah.
remember
it's-
that. What?
Look up a
It's-
picture, like
it's
you'll
kinda-
find them.
Yeah, I
They
don't
use
know.
like 4 of them,
kind of cheese.
and they were actual Transformers, like that
Oh
would
my god.
turn into them, which
yeah,
is kind of
it's
funny.
kind of weird. And
Oh yeah,
cheese.
and then the best part about Ford versus Ferrari, and we were talking about how crazy that racers die of crazy death. Right after the Le Mans
And
and
Miles.
and all this, he dies during testing, which is a real
Spoilers.
thing.
yeah,
3-year-old
3-year-old movie. Deal with it.
I mean,
3-year-old
listen, that
Is it
that
still on,
movie
Yeah,
came out
is
so
it
long
still on
ago.
HBO Max?
It's on
It
Amazon.
should be.
It's on Amazon.
I
I
saw
know
it
because
I think it's an
own
Am-
it.
yeah, I think it's on Amazon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I own it on Amazon. I have to.
You
I have to.
own it on Amazon?
That's how I
So
watch
you
it.
can't
He
even
owns-
stream
He
it?
owns the digital rights
No.
to be able to watch it whenever he wants until Amazon says
in
no.
4K.
Nice.
Ooh,
I
Oh,
rented
you
it the
sold me on
first time.
4K. You sold me on 4K.
Yeah, I have on
It is
4K
not
and-
streaming anywhere right now.
Listen, you
Ah,
have to buy
it's
it
a
on
20th
Amazon.
Century Fox film. It was distributed by Fox, so
So it should be on Disney Plus. What the hell, man?
right?
Yeah,
No,
right.
it should be on Hulu.
Or Hulu.
It should be
I mean, it's on
you know
Hulu
what?
with a premium subscription.
Okay, yeah, I was about to check.
So you probably
the
need like
answer to find
Stars or some
Yeah.
business like that.
out. No, I think it's the live
FX.
TV version of Hulu.
Okay. So in the end, what do you guys? So Chris and I kind of like brought that out there. Like, do you guys agree? Do you guys disagree that
Yeah.
that's what kind of makes a car movie like a car movie? You're like, oh, it's, either racing or like the main thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, for example, like the Italian Job. I wouldn't say the Italian Job. Yeah, it has a great chase. Same thing with Bullet. Bullet has one
Yeah.
of the most iconic car chases
Of the
of all
Mustang,
time. Of all time, you have like a whole Mustang trim that's based off of that movie. But I wouldn't necessarily call it like a car movie. It just has awesome car chases. Same thing like the movie Ronin, like that has one of like the coolest car chases. Yeah, they drive around Europe and stuff, but again, not like a car movie.
I mean, like, if you look at the latest Batman with the car chase and the Batmobile,
again,
it's a great car.
And the car he drives to the funeral,
That
which
too,
is an
yeah.
old
it's an
Stingray.
old Stingray. It's a whole Corvette,
But it's not a car
but it's
movie.
not a
You're
car
right,
movie.
exactly.
Yeah, you can have
The
nice
director
cars.
is a car person for sure. Because
he
there's
is.
no way that you're gonna put that old Camaro in there to let it get blown up. Did it get blown up?
No,
It
the-
didn't get blown up. It got saved. Okay.
no. It's because someone drove another car into
Into it, yeah.
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 It's not they're gonna be like, I'm gonna jack Bruce Wayne's old late 50s Corvette and just go nuts with it. But yeah, he drove it. I was like,
Yep.
damn, Bruce Wayne's got a Corvette.
Yep.
And it kind of
And
made
it,
sense.
It suited him pretty
It
well.
suited him
I was
perfectly.
like, okay, that makes sense. And then what was the Batmobile in that? Was it a Camaro finally? Or
No,
was
that was like some crazy souped up demon
was
car
it
that they
out
made.
of a Camaro? Because the front just looks like one.
No, it screamed more Dodge to me more than anything else.
Really?
But like,
Why? Because Dodge has the Demon now. And the
no,
Demon
not
is-
not demon. It's just I don't know something about the front grill. Like it was more
Because
of that
it was
than
the long.
yeah.
Yeah. I see that.
Like an old
It
Charger,
looks-
maybe.
It looks so close to a Camaro though, because it's got the point at the
Well,
front.
a lot of cars during that time, like
They all kinda
70s,
look the same.
they're kind of like
Yeah.
carbon copies.
The biggest difference in those is just the front end of like how thick or thin they really were, or
You know what?
the back of it.
It's
Or if it came
a
to a
heavily
point.
modified like they're like I think that from according to KBB they're trying to say it's like a heavily modified Camaro.
Let's go.
So like
My intuition was right.
but like it's weird because it's like it looks like it but it isn't. So it's
Right?
okay, inspired by a Dodge Charger but not built from one.
Okay,
So it's based on the
it
late
was built
60s.
off a Camaro.
So we're like, we were in that
I mean,
that
yeah,
ballpark.
They
like,
do that all the time.
Yeah.
I mean,
They
look
bought
at the unicorn.
They bought
Like-
apparently standard practice in Hollywood is to fill fictional cars from real cars, so they get a whole bunch of Cavaliers and then build them out. But this one they used like basically like they a whole custom chassis, but with the what is this called? Like
jet
it
engine.
looks like a jet engine like that's
whole, like,
screeching.
a whole turbine. Like,
I mean,
Yeah.
that it's not a Batmobile without that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you
not a
need to have
single
some
one
has.
crazy ass engine,
I
like
mean,
something that's
Since we're talking about, I mean, other Batman movies are car movies because you have the I think it was which one is it with Joker with
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton's
Oh,
Joker?
Yeah, so that original Batmobile, yeah, that's a whole nother.
That was.
And then
such
you
a
got
cool
Christian
one.
Bale's like tank.
the Tumblr.
Yeah.
The Tumbler.
Which
And then you have, Ben Affleck's basic, like super tank, like murder machine. I call it the murder machine. But yeah,
Very reminiscent of the Arkham Knight.
kind of,
one,
yeah.
kind of a little bit.
yeah,
Arkham Knight Batmobile.
what I do love in Ford versus Ferrari is they have Jason Bourne and Batman fighting each other in a scene because you have Matt Damon and Christian Bale going ham.
Oh, they
And it's
literally
a
just
tiny
like,
fight scene that includes bread, poor bread. That we just lose that man.
Yeah, Wonder Bread. It was actually a
Yeah,
piece of Wonder
and-
Bread.
And another part
Again,
Oh, speaking of,
it was all kind of there in the
Talladega Nights. No, I'm kidding.
Talladega Nights again.
Talladega Nights.
So like again, like talking about like Batman. That's not features cars, but not a car movie. Talladega Nights,
Yep.
pretty much like it's a racing movie.
It has
But
nothing
it-
about a certain
Oh,
car.
we could say also like Logan Lucky
Logan Lucky, yes,
because it has NASCAR in it. You have some
NASCAR.
NASCAR drivers that
That's
appear as
heist
side
movie.
Yeah.
characters.
Yeah.
True.
It's a heist movie, yeah.
I mean,
But
a
it takes
heist movie.
place during a
With-
NASCAR race.
It is the NASCAR type of car culture.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
And-
yeah, like we can play if we really wanted to. I think we can play fast and loose with the nomenclature, but
Or
I
Fast
think
and Furious.
no.
or cars Cars 1, Cars 2, Cars 3.
No, Cars
Okay,
2 is
not
an
Cars 2, not
Cars
Cars
2 is
2.
an
Just
abomination.
throw away Cars 2.
Cars 2.
Cars
Never-
1 and
never
3,
happened.
absolutely.
Never happened.
I mean, Cars 2 was all around about Mater the whole time. I mean, come on.
Him being a spy.
Weird spy and
Michael Caine.
there's car murder in that movie. I don't understand. Like, whatever. That movie's a mess. That movie's
So-
an abomination. But yeah,
Someone brought up in the chat. I've been watching the chat.
Thank
Someone
you.
brought up Initial D, which I know you.
Oh, yes.
that's a dope
listen,
game.
Yeah.
That has a dope
It's
soundtrack.
a dope game. Dope anime. I mean,
Night of Fire.
yes. And on top of that, I mean, just you could watch the very first episode and not even miss out, not miss a beat. I mean, it's so old. The animation's super old. It looks like it came from a PS2 graphic design, but the story and the passion and everything is there.
That's drift culture.
And the
in
best
anime.
part, because again, just like Ford versus Ferrari, you had Ken Miles' son in the movie. In Tokyo Drift, in Initial D, you had the guy that basically invented drifting that helped with the anime and the storyline and how cars
who was
should
also in
sound and
Tokyo
act.
Drift.
And he was also in Tokyo Drift.
Yeah. He was
in
one of those
Tokyo
old.
Drift.
He's one of those old guys. They're just like.
He's like,
Oh yeah.
he's just there like, can you use some work?
Yeah, it's like it's all right. Yeah.
You call that drifting?
Also, a side piece about Christian Bale. I love how when people finally watch Ford versus Ferrari, they realize he's actually British. That was the first time people realized he was British, and
Wow.
some people
Nah,
lost
you
their mind on
watch
Twitter.
The Prestige.
Yeah, some people
Yeah.
lost
Yeah.
their
Prestige
mind
too.
on Twitter.
Watch The
I mean, they
Prestige.
lost their
Reign
mind.
of
They're
Fire.
like, oh, I can't even watch Christian Bale anymore. I didn't know he was British, and it was all on Twitter.
Because they only know
It's a
him
meme, I
for
can
that
tell.
and maybe American Psycho. That
And
was it.
Batman.
No, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like they
Yeah.
know him for Batman,
Batman
and
and
American
American
Psycho.
Psycho. Yeah, nah, they gotta watch the other good stuff he's in.
Which American
what's
Psycho
the other
is
one?
Such a great meme now. Oh,
Oh yes,
so
yeah.
good, so good.
Nice. Let's see Paul Allen's. He just saw it recently, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, I did. I watched it.
Yeah.
We talked about it last episode.
Yeah,
which
man.
was Fun.
All right, so I think we landed on kind of what what is a statement to be a car movie?
It's the accuracy.
Yeah, it's
That's all it
attention to
is.
detail, accuracy. You know, using the
passion.
car for passion, for connection to vehicles. Whether if it's like even in Gone in 60 Seconds, like they love yeah, we're gonna steal these cars, but we love these cars. Like he loves Eleanor, even though that's like his like Jinx and
Yeah.
white whale that he can never grab. Like they love the cars, and like in all these movies that we mentioned, even Baby Driver, like they love the cars.
Oh
Like,
yeah, that
like-
STI is a huge staple in a lot of the car community.
yeah, and the characters love the cars. They love the connection to the cars, and I
Yep.
think that and like Rush, the F1 drivers, like they're connected to that car. Like they have to manipulate it in order to prove they're the best, that they're able to win.
Yeah, the reflexes have to be pin sharp, tack
Yeah,
sharp.
and that's what happened with Niki Lauda. They weren't.
Yeah.
They that one turn,
I don't remember. I think was it because he got distracted by something else that had happened on track, like another crash, or I don't remember what it was.
I think
That or
officially,
just the rain conditions. I think.
officially, I think people look back on it. It's like he mistimed a turn, but
But
anyway,
it was also raining. But
that's whatever.
he
I won't.
spun
I'm
out.
no expert on it, but
then he got hit by like three other drivers.
Yeah.
So it's-
But yeah, guys, I think overall this was a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Chris, you brought a really cool dynamic, and coming into speaking to the real intricacies of the differences of the things that we found in car culture and the details that filmmakers put into these movies. And it's always nice to see that. And I think sometimes for our listeners and viewers, they love the fact that we're like not experts, and so getting in someone with a bit of a non-expert attention to detail on that, I think it was really nice,
people.
man.
Yeah, so waiting for the other guy.
Yeah, we're still waiting on that expert.
Yeah,
you guys apparently
But
He's
hey,
just
you know what?
late.
You filled in. He's pretty late. So.
You guys got to,
the banter.
go at
the
it.
banter.
Yeah, that's fun. I appreciate that.
I mean, one last detail about Ford versus Ferrari. I mean,
Yeah, man.
Again, the detail, the car noises were actual GT40s and actual Ferraris. I mean, that there were the GT40 that they used for all the sounds was a certified GT40 from Shelby and Ford. I mean, they certified it. That's how accurate this guy built that kit car. And then there was a Ferrari that they used that only had the same engine as the race car, and they had to film it in Gainesville. There's a track called The Firm in Gainesville. They
Yeah.
actually filmed it there, and because in the behind the scenes thing, they have to say like you could do anything in Florida, so why not just film or get the recordings of a Ferrari at a track with no
Going ham.
permits?
Yeah.
All they had to do was rent the track, and that's what they did.
yeah. Just
And I
go
mean,
ham.
again, the accuracy was on point. And
And
any movie that strikes that on the head is
Didn't
golden movie.
and it didn't Danny double check me on this, but it was for sure nominated for sound editing
Yeah.
and
Oh, I think
nominated for. It might have
won.
won for that. That's why I'm thinking like for a lot of like those production things, especially when it
It
comes to
was
sound,
good.
it deserved. If it did, it deserved to win.
It won an Oscar for film editing and sound editing.
There you go.
Nice.
You needed that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
So taking
color
all those.
grading was beautiful. I mean,
And-
the artistic point of it. Ooh, they captured that like the Ford CEO offices and stuff so accurately too.
That and then you have when you're cutting from scene to scene, especially in races
And the transitions.
and transitional cuts, like you have to make sure those are able to be you can follow them while still maintaining the sense of speed and
Yeah.
danger to the characters. So,
Yeah, you can get like the aspect of their environment, what the situation they're in,
Yeah.
and that they can't pass like 7,000 RPM, but for some reason Ken Miles' car can go past that 7,000 RPM.
yeah,
You know,
right, yeah. But same thing with Gone in 60 Seconds. Like all the movement of cars and getting it, and this is always it's like sometimes when it's a scramble to pinch the car at the moment, or you have to get especially the final getaway chase. Like it's if you mess that up, like you ruin your car movie. You're like, okay, this is a mess to follow. I can't see anything.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really
Agreed.
cool.
Very
Yeah.
much agreed.
I think with that, Chris, once again, let's give you your platform for your quick little plug
Oh man,
for the Coke Gang, sir.
no, thank you. Yeah,
Remind the listeners and viewers.
Yeah, I'm an automotive photographer. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Twitter. I mean, my rants are on Twitter.
What's your
Uh,
handles on those?
So Instagram is Coat Gang Official, COATGANG, not COKEGANG,
Good.
and-
Keep it clean.
and not the Coca-Cola. It is COAT, and you can catch me on Twitter, same handle. I have a few projects coming up, video wise. And I want to plug this one movie since this is a movie podcast.
Do it.
Watch 200 Miles an Hour. Please just give it a watch.
How
and
did you
don't take
describe it earlier?
seriously.
This is the Tommy Wiseau's The Room of car
Yes,
movies.
It is Tommy Wiseau's The Room is the pinnacle of movies. I mean, it really, really is. 200 Miles an Hour is the pinnacle of Fast and Furious movies. I mean, it really is.
It's
just
not a parody.
spectacle.
It is its own
It is an actual movie.
And-
thing.
and where
I'm not
can you
gonna
watch
spoil
it?
it.
It's like The Room, where
Huh?
it was meant to
Where-
be a serious movie, but it's
and you can watch
it's
it
a
for
joke.
free on YouTube. That's the best part.
Okay.
It is
Yeah.
for free on YouTube forever.
If you want to groan and facepalm or just laugh
it a
at the
drinking game.
sheer
No,
yeah,
just
make it a drinking
game.
event.
You cringe, you take a shot.
It's
That's
just
it. You
pure
cringe, you take a shot. I mean,
pure mind-numbingly ridiculousness and just terrible
it's so good.
continuity
It's
and
so good.
it's so bad it's good.
Exactly.
I don't know, man. Like it's almost there, but it just doesn't quite get that so bad
No.
it's good for me. Like I remember seeing clips, I'm just like, nah, this can't. I don't know if I can do the whole thing, but it has to like cohesively just build to just some rapturous stupidity.
Yeah.
We'll
But,
watch
uh,
it as a group.
Oh yeah.
that would be fun.
That'd be fun,
Yeah.
dude.
All right, everybody. With that, we're gonna be signing off for this special "What Makes a Car Movie" episode. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch you again next time on our regular scheduled programming.
Later,
Thanks,
guys.
everybody.
Vroom vroom.